Councilperson Bynum. Councilperson Nazarian. Present. Councilperson Lombassi is absent. Councilperson Figueroa. Present. Councilperson Solano. Present. Councilperson Rosado Martinez. And Council President. Present. We have one.
Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is public comment.
No one has signed up.
Next item on the agenda under item 4 is approval of records meeting minutes from May 20th, 2024 special council meeting.
Does everyone read the minutes of Monday's meeting?
Yeah, I can't go on with everyone here, but I did just want to express appreciation for answering questions into the record.
That is fine.
Yes.
Any other comments? Is there a motion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Motion passes 4-0 until next meeting. Next item on the agenda under item 5 is new business discussion with department directors regarding fiscal year 25 proposed budget. Council President, I believe there is a request to move item 1 to position of item 4 and item 3 to position of item 1.
No opposition? So moved.
So at this time, I'd like to call the Director of Parks and Recreation.
Bridges or Mary?
Oh, Mayor.
Sorry, I apologize. You make sense of the finance secretary first.
Correction, it'll be item 2 to position of item 1.
Okay.
Good evening, Council President and members of the council. Is this on? Should it be? Good? You can hear me, right? Okay, similar to last year, I come to you a day after being away for a bit, so hang with me. Hopefully I will the person answers your questions, and if not, I will absolutely get them for you. Before getting into any specifics, I just want to thank the administration and its directors. It's refreshing to work with directors who really understand the importance of budgeting. We work collaboratively to weigh the needs of each department while keeping costs down. Obviously, without their participation, this budget book would not be possible. It doesn't come out of the finance, it comes out of the city. Yep. This evening, I'm going to be reviewing the finance budget and its goals and objectives, but I want to just take it first to talk about some of the items within the overall budget that aren't addressed specifically by supervisors. During the mayor's budget address, she mentioned the tangible tax exemption. Last year, the city implemented a $20,000 exemption, and this year there's a statewide $50,000 exemption. So in your budget books, you're going to see 2 lines of revenue. One is within the tax levy, or city tax revenue, and that represents taxes imposed on businesses that exceed the $50,000 exemption. And then within the state aid portion, you're going to see the tax amount of what is exempted, which is being reimbursed to us by the state. So 2 lines. It just looks different when you're comparatively looking at it. So I just thought that might be helpful to point it out. Second, I wanted to specifically address traffic camera revenue. As you can see, it's increasing over last year. It increased from the year before. And as a result, we wanted to put that money directly towards public safety, and we did it within their capital expenditure lines. So both within this budget, both the police and the fire, we're budgeting for them to get new dispatch equipment. The equipment that they have currently is dated. It's not even the word I'm looking, serviced by, it's no longer serviceable, so
Software doesn't work.
that was it. So it's imperative that we get that replaced so that our city is a safe place. Lastly, just a comment, the budget represents, within the budget is all of our union commitments. It reflects all of our pension commitments that are given to us by the state. It reflects an OPEB commitment, and it also reflects all of our debt requirements. So this year, there's an added debt, and that being the city portion of the school bond. So those are the things I just wanted to point out specifically. Obviously, I can answer any other questions, but I'm gonna move on to the finance department. I don't know if you remember, but each year I kind of have a theme. My first year was consistency, and to me, it's imperative that we are consistent with our policies and our procedures within the finance department. It's also imperative that we are consistent with how we treat our constituents. One is treated the same way as any other. Last year it was continuous improvement. I don't really need to speak to continuous improvement. This year it's productivity. How can we do more with less? I come from a manufacturing environment where we always had to find productivity improvements to offset increasing costs. I found it's much more difficult in this industry, but we're still looking for it. I'm forever looking for cost saving measures and things that we can do. So I'm going to give you a couple examples of things we accomplished this year, and they're also kind of embedded in next year's budget. So as you all know, our junior accountant resigned. He went to another opportunity. So instead of simply filling his position, I took a pause and I asked my team if maybe we could look at absorbing all of his responsibilities and his tasks, and if we could do so, great, and if not, then we would absolutely fill that position. And I'm happy to report that we absorbed all the responsibilities. The department didn't miss a beat, so it was a head we just did not meet with it. I'm going to say it, I said it to RJ. The people that I have in my department are great. I don't know, I'm a little fearful that wouldn't be the case with other people, but they step up, they do their job, they always are willing to do more. So it's been fabulous. Very happy in the job. So with that, instead, we now, within this budget, is the Director of Development and Strategic Partnership. You can see the position in the goals, or in my goals and objectives. You can see the position is responsible for the development of a fundraising strategy that's aligned with the city's goals. The position will manage the entire grant process. They're going to identify grant opportunities, submit applications, manage post-board requirements, a whole gamut. I think it's a really good add to the department and to the city. We've also reduced the need for some of the consultants that I had when we first started. Through simple experience, through support of other municipal finance leaders, and through old-fashioned research, I just don't have the need for as many consultants. I can run the department run the city, the finances, without any additional cost to the city. Kind of on the same lines, our auditors are simply there to do the audit. They don't need as much. They were helpful in the beginning to help me along, but now they simply are doing the audit process. We do it efficiently, we do it successfully. As you all know, we hit our December 31st date, so that makes me very happy. Cross-training always leads to productivity. We're able to address issues even if a team member is out. We don't have to wait for somebody to come in. And kind of silly, but we are trying to go as paperless as possible. We scan every document within the finance department, so helps the environment, and it also helps reduce the cost of outside storage. Everything is scanned, every transaction that we do. Lastly, I obviously have goals that aren't related to productivity, and those are to provide finance support for 3 incredibly important projects within the city. Those are El Centro, those are the city's housing initiative, and the last one is the new high school and the education strategy. There are teams set up, interdepartmental, even inter-district teams for all of these. I'm a member of all the teams and give them any support or analytical needs that they might have. So that's an important goal, is to continue that so that all of those initiatives are successful. So with that, I can answer any questions specific to finance. I can answer any questions to the overall budget. Anything you might have, I'm happy to answer.
First of all, you are great find for the city of Santa Cruz, thank God. The circumstances.
It's mutual.
And it started out as a campus.
Yeah.
It's nice, it's refreshing also, I noticed you condense and combine some of the tasks in lesson, not waste, but like this is some of the audited consultants and things like that. I'm sure it's going to affect efficiency. Thank you, you're a great fighter. And also, I think we discussed the traffic cameras and now it's earmarked for public safety. And I think we briefly spoke about that,
Yeah.
saying if some people think that money goes to the city, what does it do? Well, now it's earmarked for public safety. And I thank you, we've got to that. But again, you're a great find for the city of Santa Cruz. I have no questions because it's really good.
Thank you.
Mary, so I second what you said about he wasn't employed as a superforce. However, I would like to ask you a question. The first question that we have is on salary, third line.
I'm
the
sorry, I
salaries-
didn't hear the word.
What's the question that I have?
Yeah.
First one is salaries.
Okay, salaries, yes.
It's the third line, you say 486,755. And in the page of salary for the executive on your department,
Yeah.
the four salary included here, but the numbers doesn't reflect. So how many employees are under your budgets?
Yep, so if you look at my goals and objectives, let me just get to it so I don't misspeak, because that's the best. Page 36. There for me, thank you. So there's myself, there's my deputy, Allison Johnson. And then there's the position that I spoke about, the Director of Development and Strategic Partnerships. And then we have clerks, we have our payroll clerk, we have our accounts payable clerk, our tax collection clerk, and then we have our assessor and his clerk.
So what they are included in your department?
Yes,
So you mentioned that director of development too?
yeah, so the added position that I spoke about, that we spoke about before, is embedded within the finance department. And when it was a part-time position, that was embedded within the finance department as well. So there's no change, it's just a full-time position now.
Chair, I'll just, sorry, I made no, here, right?
No, I just noticed, where you, at the other hand, I noticed a different, side when I look into that, see what would be, 20,000. Versus, 106.
Yeah, salary line. So I'm like, that's where you are. There we go. I like it. I like it.
Difference seems like,
So if we're talking, right, so if we're talking on the salary line, last year's budget was 420, then this year it's 487. And that represents the drop of my junior accountant and the add of the strategic development position. So obviously that position is a higher paid position than my junior accountant.
So
That's good, I'm here.
but I just wanna, sort of echo what Brandon said, like, I think they're a great addition to the team. I remember when you started and you're like, I don't know. And then I think you're doing amazing and you're always there when we have questions, so
I appreciate that.
So my question was, around that same position that we're talking about,
Yeah.
the, Director of Development and Strategic Partnerships. That position was under other professional services before?
Nope, it was within the salary line, it was a
Okay.
salary position.
What is other professional services for? Is that for like the auditing, the?
So there's a separate line for auditing, if
Okay.
you'll see, so our other professional
Oh, I
services
see.
is ADP.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
lot of our services that we have within there, our collection, the software that's related to that. So as I said, there might be, just in case, I would have to look, there might be like $5,000 in consultants,
Sure.
just in case I needed it. But that number, if you remember, it was
Yeah, it was like $90.
Yeah, so,
For that, so just, clarification purposes, that position lived in salaries, but it was part-time, and so, now with it being full-time and the drop of the junior accountant, that's how you were able to balance.
Yep.
Well, I wanna give
Anyone else?
Okay. So there's a line item that doesn't have anything. It's like, it hasn't had anything in it since FY 23, looks like, it's the language statement. And the reason why I wanted to ask about it is because I saw that other people got language statements. So I wondered if that was like intentional or.
no, I believe that it should have a small amount in there, I think it should be $300.
That's what I saw in other lines.
$300.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
mistake, not in
No,
there.
no, that's okay, I was one, I'm like, wait, other
Yep.
people are getting.
We added the line without the money.
Okay, no problem. And in which case would we give out sick incentive pay? Can you remind me of that?
I think it's for just police and fire, you'd have to remind me, if they go the whole year without taking a sick day, the contractual agreement gives them something. So that number is a little bit difficult to budget because it's just depending on if it happens or if it
Yeah,
doesn't.
and people actually.
And it's within each contract, I can get you the specifics.
No, that makes sense, I
Yeah.
remember it was similar, like in
Yeah.
the district, if you don't take a certain
Yeah.
amount of time, and
Yeah.
Okay. That's it in terms of your department. I don't know if we're, able to ask questions on the overall the budget. Sort of like, yeah,
Yeah, sure.
but,
No, I just looking at, couple of equipment, it's a little confused for me. And I see, when I see the 500 and I see 4,000.
So that's, it's for equipment that's required by the finance department, but doesn't meet the criteria for a capital expenditure, meaning it just doesn't cost enough. So we've been getting scanners for the department, anything that we have to do with our copier, anything that's, it isn't a supply, but isn't a capital expense either. So, like I said, in gaining efficiencies, our scanners were huge. We're trying to it's better to buy some things once than pay for it ongoing. So if somebody's chair isn't ergonomically correct, that would go there. Items like that. So I think all of those things are important for the work environment. Yeah.
Your presentation, you say that the city tax exemption is $20,000 and the state is 50. This combined
No.
will be 70, or the state will
Yeah,
supersede.
when the city was on its own, it decided independently, it was a bit ahead of the curve, and our exemption was 20,000. When the state got involved there, the exemption is now 50.
so it just kind of supersedes our ordinance, because we submitted, we, had an ordinance
Yeah.
of that, right?
Yeah.
So that was one of my questions, so thank you. Can you, so on the revenue, so fees, tax revenue, what is investment? And how come we have?
Very good question. So I think that in my opinion, the FY 24 budget was incorrect. It is interest on specifically our rescue money. Okay, so it's in an income earning account, obviously it's 11. I budgeted that number there, and in retrospect, I shouldn't put non-continuing general fund revenue in there. That's going to die out. So we just put that income revenue in with our rescue money and put it there. So it's not that we're not earning it, it's more geography, and that's what that is.
the tax revenue interest on taxes, why, so like looks like we're budgeting less than what we budgeted before.
Yep, if you think about it, we are not taxing motor vehicles anymore.
Yes.
I don't get any, people paid it late, right? I don't get that interest anymore. I'm not taxing tangible, but the people that are being taxed on tangibles are the elected Narragansett, are the big, they pay their taxes. It was the smaller ones where I had interest applied because they just didn't do it. So my base is shrinking, so my interest is shrinking.
For miscellaneous departmental revenue, it looks like a high number, so like usually, the way I understand it, like miscellaneous items should be like a lower expense, right, like a low.
Yeah, tell me where we are, tell me where we're looking.
So page 11,
Yeah,
fees, non-tax revenue.
Yep.
Kind of like middle of the page.
Yep.
Miscellaneous departmental revenue.
Yep.
What is encompassed there, and is there a way that we can sort of itemize that a little bit more?
let me tell you, let me itemize it for you.
Okay.
I'll itemize what we have this year.
Sure.
And then that'll help me with what we budgeted for next year. I can provide you that detail, I'd rather not, yes.
Yeah, no, that, thank you.
It's all good.
And then in the following line, parks and recreation revenue,
Mm-hmm.
it's at 0.
Yeah.
Is that because it's sort of put in different buckets as opposed to
It
just one
is, it
bucket?
is. So when he does his fundraising for Salsa Night and for car show night, it's segregated and we track what we've raised for those events against what we pay for them, and that's not the general fund.
Oh, okay, I see. And so like, what would be in the general fund, like the field fees, like,
Yep, those are in there, because again, I like to put what is continuous, what is something,
Yeah,
you know,
that
if it's a
makes sense.
one-time thing that's just
Yep.
funding a one-time issue, I don't do that.
That makes sense. Tangible tax fees, oh, never mind, that's the line that you
Yeah.
described.
Yeah.
School housing.
That is aid that the state gives us on interest on previous school bonds.
Okay.
The numbers within this section, except for cannabis, are provided to me by the state. They give me those numbers, which makes that budget look like it's.
Is the, so it looks like the FY 24 actuals for March,
For which one?
for that, for the schoolhouse.
It's timing. It's timing of when they give it to us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that like?
I asked the
We
same question.
budgeted 97, but we
Yes.
got 9?
Yeah, yeah, it's timing.
Okay.
And I believe we received it.
So,
Yes.
on the cannabis thing, so the money coming from cannabis, they go to the state and the state spreads stores?
Yes, yeah, so that the store collects all related taxes and then what's due to the city is remitted to us from the state. I don't know.
Can we just go back on page 11? So local pilot revenue, is that also a timing
Yes.
situation?
Yep, they give it to us stingy. Yep.
It's tied to the state budget.
Oh, got it. Yeah, those are like, I'm like, wait, that doesn't look right.
Looks a little scary.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. And then so I don't know if are we getting a tax assessor here or are you able to?
I can answer for him.
Okay.
I can answer that.
So he's contracted, right?
He is contracted, so within the tax assessor line, the salaries is Carolina,
Yep.
our clerk, and he is contracted in other professional services.
Yeah. And then for reevaluation services, I see that the budget is like 13 more,
Yeah.
20,000 now. Is this a reevaluation year?
It's the the interim one, the statistical revaluation, where they don't actually look at every house, they only look at sales statistics, and they do a reval based upon that. So yes, that's happening, and that's why that money is there. And that reval, 75% of it is, the cost is picked up by the state, so we got a quote. And the only portion that you see in here is requirement, which is different than the full reval. It's bizarre to me, we have to take the whole full reval, but the state picks up a portion of the statistical.
And I'm not an economist, but I have been reading about like market rates and how property values can drop and all of that. And so like, will there be any consideration as to what those rates can do to the property value and how it can affect our taxes?
So if in discussions with Dr. Van, if he's looking at recent sales of homes compared to what it was when we did the full, and prices are still going up. They're still going up. I can't tell you what percentage, I would be afraid I would misspeak. So I think overall, especially for residential, I can speak to are gonna go up. But again, in theory, when the valuation goes up, your rate will come down. You know, it doesn't necessarily mean a higher tax. You're always down and stuff. But that'll be reflected in next year's tax bills, not the one we're talking about here.
For FY26. The second page of the ordinance amending wage schedule generally.
Yeah.
It looks like there's a new public works position, utility worker.
Yeah.
That I assume that's obviously based on the contract or part of the contract negotiations. Can you share a little bit about like how and why?
So they have some more skilled workers that can do repairs that are over and above what a laborer would do. And they wanted to provide some compensation for them because it's in most instances they can do the work, it's cheaper than contracting it out than having a repair. So they're going to post, it's not a new position, it's not going to be a new ad. It's just gonna be a new position which anybody within the department can apply for, and it's slightly higher.
Right, so like the FTEs wouldn't change,
Nope.
it's just,
Nope.
okay.
Yeah.
And then, do we have a parking lot here? Or is that just the name of the position? The next column over, it says animal control / parking monitor. Is
I
that just
don't
the
know what
name
that
of
is.
it?
We
Yeah,
have no parking monitor.
okay. I'm like, that's different, I don't,
No parking
I'm charging for parking here, so. And I saw we added a new step there.
Yes, that was for our, yes, yeah, so that was taken into consideration all of her time and effort, and they just added the step forward.
And, the last column on the right, so I think we might be missing something. And it just says, it just starts with step 2 here. So it's like, the police safety admin, I looked at last year, but then I think that's what it should be, but it's missing just the step.
I believe that's what it is too. I will correct that as well.
And then the last question for you, well, I have two. This one's almost done. So, it looks like the page 24, the capital program, capital budget ordinance. Can you just, it looks like it's in a new format. Can you just go over it a little bit?
Sure. So the capital budget is the FY25 budget, which consists of a new oversized, I'm not going to be technically correct, dump truck for DPW, but they can use for many different things. And then it's the 2 dispatchers. So the outer years are our annual capital program, and what we're trying to do, and we're setting it up, is this was done prior to me, and it's actually part of the city charter, and then it wasn't done, is we're trying to forecast what we might need in future years for our capital fund, like make sure that we have the money, make sure we have our eye on the ball. So we have a capital expenditure team, and we're trying to zero in on on more specific needs in the outer years, but we're starting to format to do that.
That's great.
Yeah.
The budget for it, so it's 471. They're on 97. Last year's FY24 was 369. Looks like we're almost 100,000 extra. Is that what you were referring to in terms of public safety?
Yes.
Traffic here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, it was on in all the same.
And then the last question for you is, I think it was great that you did the audit before December 31. And maybe we can get to the point where we do it before then. What's not a question, it's more like a praise, like, that's awesome that you got to that point, because I remember the, like in the audit presentations, and it was like really
Yeah, they were
late
nice.
when we first started, so just wanted to say kudos to you for doing
Oh,
that.
thank
'cause,
you.
Yeah, that was, it was helpful to have it
Yeah,
before.
right, before we start talking, because we did it almost at the same time, we talked about the audit and the budget.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say.
Thank you. Yeah, it's like, it's nice to get it behind us, we want to always be looking back and figure out.
So Mary, again, thank you. Like you say at the beginning of the presentation, that you want to try to do more and do less.
Yeah.
And you are doing a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mary, and thank you, department. They're very pleasant. I will pay taxes. And in closing, you're right on the money. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, under item 3, is Parks and Recreation.
Yeah, you should.
Good evening, everyone. With pleasure, the council president and the council member. In the Park and Recreation Department and Community Service, so that you can see the most important point of our work broken down. Our force is keeping growing the 3 main areas in our department. In the parks, we are completing, renovating, and constructing several spaces. This includes Yes Park, with ongoing construction. Yes Park is fully renovated, and the youth get to enjoy the space daily. Garden Playground and Desert Plaza are going projects. We are excited for our brand new tennis court with a ribbon cutting schedule in June, along with the Diversity Garden, the ribbon cutting also in June. There are new things in our stadium, renovation of River Island bathrooms, new scoreboard in the Luigi field, and so much more. We are continuing the effort to improving the safety and the maintenance on all city parks, such as adding the security cameras in the park to ensure our community is safe. With all parks and fears to have security camera by the end of the year. In the recreation area, we have improved our recreational offers, including Saturday night, 4th of July celebration, food cafes, car show, and so much more. In addition to the agreement, we already have the diversity of sport, including baseball, soccer, football, track, wrestling, basketball, and soon tennis in the park, and the family bike ride event for our city. We have provided youth opportunity, like our new youth career empowerment summer program, including workshop with the school year, the kayak program, art in the park, and the collaboration with the Beats Club for the summer job, and the several other programs and events funded by the Governor of Learns 365, such as Backpack Assistance in partnership with Rhode College, and tutorials in partnership with the Coaching for Change, all supported by the city, or by our citywide after-school program coordinator. In the community side, we continue to expand our community resources, like summer food program in different locations in the city, Monday to Friday during our summertime. The Thanksgiving Drive, Christmas Toy Drive, and many more. For example, school program for the citywide elderly residents in partnership with the YMCA to continue to prioritize all constituents, because that's the goal of this administration. In partnership with the Progreso Latino and high rises throughout the city to support our elderly community by offering specific programs, events, summer trips, and many resources. We offer many different services to our community, and all are very different, but they are help us to meet our goal to improve quality of life for our community. Thank you for everything you do in the council, and we are open to any information on us we have.
Yes, Alberto. Alberto, what is maybe just said, she started her presentation that we try to do more with less, and your budget represent that. You are like $14,000 and change less, and we see how hard you work in the community, how hard you maintain in recreation, so people here have a lot of fun with all the events that you prepare for the community. So I want to thank you for working so hard and doing a lot of things for the community. And just keep doing the good job. That's my comment. My recommendation.
I just, Mary would be, okay.
Yeah, it's just the, every city employee selects a health benefit, and we try and budget for their most recent choices, and that reflects that.
We just, definitely.
Mary, follow what you just mentioned. So we went from 5,000 to 19,000. But the actual test for March was 3,800.
Hang on, you're right, hang on. Can we move on for a minute?
Yeah, also I wanted to say, I also see what your team does in the community, and so, and I love that you're involved in the seniors more, and they feel so left out. Every time I go to like dinners, sometimes they're like, and there was some sort of reimbursement process made. Is that right?
Yes,
You guys
they,
get reimbursed?
yeah, right, reimbursement to us or the food money. The
Okay,
city will be paid for all the staff.
The
Then
staff.
the money that you can see there,
Okay.
we hire 10 staff,
Yeah.
but we deploy in the different four locations we have across the city.
okay, perfect. Thank you for clarifying that. And then, so I remember that we changed, I think, from what I remember, we had changed the coordinator role to deputy director. Is that right?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
I did work with that with the mayor office and HR for change the title, which
Okay.
in the organization.
Okay.
Thank you for
Yeah,
clarifying
I'm
that.
like, I remember we changed that, yeah, so that, okay. And I just wanted to advocate for, I know you guys are doing a great job with the field and like making sure that, there's fencing and stuff like that. The project Gold Court, I just feel like we need some love. So I do the Mundialito there, as you know,
Yes,
and
let
I
me
see
explain a
them.
little bit about that. Always, when the season starts, summer and fall, I do the inventory about the city and working very different projects with it. Sometimes it's sad to say, but sometimes some constituents don't care the space like we want to do it. We feed the fence many times. They broke again. We spend a couple thousand on that. They broke in the feed too. I have the video that they contribute and share with me. Couple dude destroying the facilities, the design. You know, we working on that for that. This administration coming myself. We working on the security camera in the location because you know we cannot accept things anymore. You know, vandalize or facility. And that's the work we have to be more care now the security camera now I ordered a new sign for added in the facility and we keep working on this stuff for detail because it's sad to say but we don't have the time to be the facility all day until the people is saturated. Sometimes they do that. But we do what we can and we put the more effort that we can for the people care more facility with the new security cameras, monitoring for security department reports.
It really is sad to see, and yeah, obviously I'm a little biased because I run Mundialito there, and so I see it, and it's so sad every single time we go, like it's something new. So I'm glad you're putting in the cameras, thank you for working on that. And then I just wanted to ask about like what the new recreation software, like what does that look like? That sounds pretty awesome.
Yes, that's fine, that's finalized.
Okay.
We already started with the training with the company 4 weeks ago, and we start launching the program at the end of June.
Oh, okay.
For the all the resident, all the organization of the city can access and can, you know, preservation everything online. Or the city approve it, but they can do it more easy. Don't need to come here in person and do the paperwork.
Exactly.
That's nice.
Because I do have to fill out all the forms.
Soon when we finish with the training, everything of course we put in the city website and social media for the people know about the our new system.
Awesome.
I got a question for you, Alberto.
Yes.
Because when people come here to apply for license for open new business and they create that, that's something that we like. But in your budget, which is a clear budget anyway, you call in the temporary employees, and I know you're gonna need some staffing for the event that is coming up. How are you gonna cover?
This new temporary salary is going to involve with my community event. This temporary salary is for the 5 supervisor, and you can see in the previous budget. And that's the 2 people that they working today to care Heating Zone Sport Complex, but now how the Heating Zone Sport for the construction in the high school. And we eliminate that position because we don't need anymore because Heating Zone Sport for construction, and when the construction over of course the school district and the city we start security camera, we don't need there anymore the 5 supervisor for care in the city. That they created there.
Wait, sorry, I missed that. Was that the field supervisor?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a question on the street beautification workers. I see that the last year budget was 39,246, and this coming year it's 37,188.
Yeah, because the of course with the percent of the increase in the salary is including there. But that's a little more, right?
No, it's lower for the year 25. That's my question. Like when lower from last year.
First page?
It's page 15.
15?
15.
No, because last year we spent 39,246, right? Right, Mary?
That's not, yeah, that's not much.
Because sometimes they work.
You're looking budget to budget, correct? That's
Yes. Yep.
okay. Hang on.
Page 15, right?
It's online.
Yes. I assume it's because sometimes they work in couple extra hours. For that day we spend 39,000. And now it's 37, so that's the right number of the hours that they work.
to you on that one.
Alright, doing Mary looking at any other
I
question?
have that note.
I want to thank you, a couple of things. I'm so happy that James Park is coming to fruition. I'm waiting for their amendments. Starting with, we can go backtrack, but thank you for Veterans Day. Memorial Day, which is coming up. We'll never forget our veterans. And I express it all the time. And I am proud of that. Proud of you guys helping out. 4th of July is unbelievable. We had 800 to 1,000 people last year. Fantastic. I had some people from Whitman who could not believe how many people had the 4th of July party. And of course, Christmas in the park. Fantastic. I'm thanking you. It's not easy. It's not easy. And I want to remind people that all departments are on the front row. They know what it's like on a day-to-day basis. They know what it's like on. So I want to thank you. It's not easy. And the same coming up with you people are on the front lines in these departments. And I think your word is gospel. I've seen it at work. People that are on the front lines out there. And thank you. Same with the budget. I'm sure your budget reflects what you need. The people are helping out tremendous to keep it within reason. So again, I want to thank you for being on the front lines. Whether it's recreation, whether it's finance, police, fire. So I want to remind people that it's not easy on the front line. They take a lot of heat for the show. I just want to say that. That's why I like to be part of here. Because I just know it's not easy. I know it's not easy. I see it. Wow. People come up to me, how about this? My favorite saying is, I can walk on water, but you still get people saying you can't speak. So I want to thank you so much. Your whole department heads, and I'm going to say it, it's finally wraps up next week. That's why I have to sit back and listen. Thank you. It's not easy.
And I will add out on the participation specifically that probably the budget that he has doesn't even reflect what he's going to spend. So sometimes they spend more, but they get private money to do some events. And I recognize that because I mean, in process.
And it's also not your
To
fault.
event for the city. So,
Not your fault, or the highway department's fault, or some of our parks getting up. It's no one's fault. It's gotta come from people's heart, not from our department. You know, I see that, it's not your fault, parks and recreation, it's not highways fault, they do that job. So I wanted to say that out. And that's why a lot of times I like to sit and listen. Thank you, and all the departments, and I will say this publicly pretty soon. And speaking of parks, we do have Memorial Day again, we're not gonna forget our veterans in the park, Monday, 9 a.m. And from there, all the council will soon be excited. And from there, we want to out to the parade. It's not easy. It's a mile and a half. It goes uphill, downhill. But it's a wonderful parade. I promoted the Lincoln Parade today in the Valley of Graves. I think it's a great parade. It's a good state. I can't thank you enough. I'm not on the front lines. I'm just a counselor. And what you people do day to day, you see it.
Thank you, Mr. President. I really appreciate you for the same of the President of the Solano, the policy. DM, I think, is very small. You know, we do the work that we can because we love this community, we love the city. All my staff live in the city, is from the city, including my deputy mommy, my city wife, and push around her, my certification, Pia Acevedo, and Rafael Tavares, all live here. Correct.
Okay.
Thank you so much again. Let me
Next item on the agenda is under item 4, is Office of Constituency Services.
Hi everyone, good evening, council members. All right, so Office of Constituent Services, so since last May, I've had the privilege of overseeing the Office of Constituent Services and Health, along with the Community Center project. And we still continue to provide toiletry bags and diapers to community members in need, and all we just continue to serve our constituents every day the best we can. Regarding Ed Center, I know that's another piece. As of right now, we've raised 7.5 million this year so far. We have a timeline that our project manager shared with us, and we are looking at breaking ground sometime at the end of this year, which is very exciting. Community sessions will be hosted to inform residents of the status, but we'll also be getting feedback, so that feedback on programs they would like to see on this program. And that's all I have for now. And if you guys have any questions, let me know.
So you say breaking ground on the incentive.
Yes.
So that it's gonna be totally rebuilt. How it's gonna work out?
Well, so we purchased 702, 704 Broad Street, which is across the street from Navigant. We're gonna renovate the building. So it'll be complete renovation on the inside of the building. So we break ground, we're literally, it's just a ceremonial thing, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's starting the construction of this.
You get a budget for that project. I know you just say there's 5 million.
7.5.
What is the budget? What is the total price of it?
The total price is
11.
11, yes. Yep, so we are still in the middle of raising more funds, but right now we have 7.5.
So we need to raise a lot more money.
A bit more, not much, but yeah, a bit
So
more.
we got that come
Yeah.
out here. He
Yeah.
does a good job with the money.
Her and then part of the full-time director of strategic, what's the title?
I lose my words when I say
I think
it.
development strategy.
Yes, we'll be working really hard on getting that done. So we're very confident about it.
So the officer constituent and center's gonna be all together, right? So-
Yes, exactly. And so, some of the services that we're already offering will eventually be transferred over to the Centro. But it'll be a lot more nonprofits that will be living at a center. One of them being on the basement level, which would be the hub of services that the mayor has always talked about. And that will be different nonprofits and agencies who will have satellite offices in Centro to provide the services that are social.
Would that bring in any revenue? Like, are we renting the space to them, or is it sort of like an exchange of service? Like, we're offering a space and say we'll be offering free service?
Yeah, as of right now, we haven't actually, we don't have any concrete, like, what we're gonna do specifically. There's some different choices, whether we're gonna rent it, or just, like you said, exchange of services. But I know that a lot of the will just have a part-time position at the center offering those services. One of them has said, pay us to be there. They already have those existing positions, it's just them having offices and to provide different services for each events, coordinator, from having an appointment, specialist, things like that. Some of them are actually already here at City Hall, so we don't have space obviously, and eventually we'll just transfer.
I think I would add, just for clarity, the administration does not view this as a revenue generator, right? Like right now, as like I said, we're hosting so many of these things, so we know that demand exists, right? Not for them to make money or us to charge them, but simply for there to be almost like a hoteling space, right? Because we are a community where certain acute needs do exist, and so this sort of facilitates their access in a bigger space than the 500 square feet that Office of Constituent Services has right now. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Do we have an idea of the time frame that it's gonna be open during the day?
So they're telling us construction will take 12 to 15 months, so we're looking at May of 2026.
So I have a question. Who makes up the multidisciplinaries? Like, I know you said, Dr. Fine would lead it, but who like makes it?
It's different nonprofits. A lot of them are, let's see if I can remember which ones we have the Oregon Health Station, folks from their community health workers, we have the YWCA, and we have folks from the Autism Project, Crossroads, Rhode Island, so many different partners. Yeah, I'm gonna say they was like, from the school district have attended to. I don't think we amplified it enough and made it,
That's why it's part of the.
Yeah, exactly, and so we're trying to ramp the impact. Before the pandemic, it used to be weekly, right now it's just monthly. So we do wanna add more members, there's a lot of need in the community, and there's a lot of cases that need a lot of, assistance.
Yeah.
That referral issue.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was just gonna ask, like, is it supposed to be like a referral sort of, wraparound service?
Exactly.
Okay.
Kind of similar to, I don't know if you're very familiar with the FCC program, just having those collaborative partners in there to brainstorm on how we can help that specific community or resident. So we all come together once a month, but we're in the middle of the event again, and we'll have more information. We have different conversations with Dr. Fine and other stakeholders to see how we can do better.
I also saw you have a line item, supplemental staff. Yes. Nobody.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about
Yes, so that would be a part-time, right now we're calling it a community health and resource navigator. That's part of the goal, for that, for my department. Seeing that, we're getting a lot of need in that office, but this position specifically would help with follow-up, referrals, event planning, since we will be adding more, programs. One of the things that I don't remember, Mayor Rivera mentioned, healthy living programs for the elderly population. We wanted to keep adding more, and I know you kind of mentioned.
Yeah.
But she's been doing a great job, so we just want to continue adding more programming for the seniors. And dissecting data around substance use and sexual health, which, as you guys know, is a huge issue, and we've seen it uptick in overdoses in our city, so we're working a lot with that. And I know it might seem like a lot for a part-time person, but with it just being just one line item, and me now focusing more on absent around this project, just sort of moving along, it'll add a lot more bandwidth in the office. What was that?
Yes, you, maybe, if you're excused.
No
Thank
other
you.
questions?
No. Enjoy the evening, and thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
And I've got a, I really thank you.
I do have a question. It's not over.
No. We'll start construction at the end of this year.
Thank you, sir.
Enjoy the evening. And at this time, we haven't heard from,
Jim is
Hi,
in
Jim,
his
I'm
car,
is
the
he,
planning meeting just wrapped up, he said he's 3 minutes away, so
here we go.
Mary, can I ask you a question in the neutral?
Yeah.
Council President, may I address Mary in the meantime? Mary, what is issue S? So that's under H20, other city government.
And it wasn't budget this year, it was just last year, right?
No, I don't know what it is, it's actual.
Yeah, it wasn't budget this year. So I think, we put that line item in and it was a get out and vote expense,
Okay.
promoting the election. In terms
Last
of,
year's election?
Remember,
just reiterating that it was happening.
Would that be something we would do this year, you think?
I think that we put the money, this year in the Board of
Board of
Canvassers.
Canvassers?
And just to clarify, if we remember, we had a election that we weren't anticipating, right, because of the resignation of Congressman Cicilline.
Right.
And so, there was more, money needed, and that, to be clear, is nonpartisan money through the Board of Canvassers.
So when that happens, that selection and that, do we get any help from the Secretary of State?
I will defer to our city clerk.
The state pretty much tells cities budget for your elections, they don't really provide this as well. So that's why special elections are very expensive.
And difficult because they're unanticipated.
Yeah, I know, it's a funny.
If you look at the budget for the Board of Canvassers this year, there is a large increase, but that's because we've got a known large election, which is presidential, right? So that requires more administrative work.
Sure, yeah, yeah. Let's take a 5 minute recess. From former council member, Hugo.
Another question.
almost done. You're
That's
almost
okay.
done.
What?
You're almost
Is
done.
it almost done? I've been on vacation, so I have no problem.
Oh, just a second. I always have a meeting at planning board or school board.
That would, he is currently yes, exactly.
Well,
Exactly. The part-time role that we're proposing.
Yeah, whatever, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Chief? Chief? Actually, he was coming.
Yep.
We just finished the meeting over there.
He's not stuck on that one.
No, he's walking upstairs. He was the planning board led long, and we thought we could do both.
I just came to say hi.
We were off by 5 minutes.
Mayor Transit.
Yeah.
No flooding.
Okay.
Pretty sorry. Thank you for coming.
It's not easy to get to though, if you have to go across that way. That would be.
Catching up on things.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Man.
We're good.
To see you. Good.
I will make sure that
Recess. There's 3
Oh, yeah. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, good. How are you? Nice to see you.
Hi, Tia.
How are you? Nice to see you.
See you.
Nice to see you.
Very good. Jim, we just finished. Come on, keep moving.
Good to see you again so soon. Should we wait a minute to go back? Okay, so when you're ready, Council President.
Tom's here.
Jim,
I meant to say,
wrong planning director.
Tom feels like.
You said you wanted to take
With your permission, Council President, I would like to have Mary enter one thing in the record in
Oh,
response to
absolutely.
a question from Tatiana.
The question was, it was a question, I think, on the school costs related to the international meat market. And those were all in last year's numbers, but within the answer, there was, a large, most of the portion was paid for through the state. We have a 3.6% match on that money, and that is seen within the school department city share line, right at the end of the entire budget.
Page 20.
Oh, I should have given her the same respect she gave me, page 20. So you can see that number when we talked about it last year, that's $300,000 that we paid out in total. And then our match to every other FEI or program that they have.
One second, Mary.
Yeah.
I think there will be. So it says 30,612 as of March.
So that is our match for our FEI projects,
Okay.
and that's it.
And so that, is there other, I guess, other like, are we responsible for giving the school district any other money at all?
No.
Jim? Nice stuff.
It's an honor to be here. A year ago at this time, I was here for the first time as planning director, so I've been in the role for about a year now, having served prior to that, the deputy director's role. And it really is a pleasure and an honor to be able to direct a department that has its hand in so many different projects and works across all departments in ways that we come to work every day with the intent of and knowing that we will in many ways have an opportunity to improve the quality of life for residents in the city of Central Falls. So we've got a small but dedicated team that is really focused on getting things done for the city. And that's a wide range of activities that we're involved in. Everything from housing, which I can speak a little bit about, to many of our parks and recreation facilities, both upgrades to old facilities and bringing new facilities online. Helping to lay the groundwork for the development of the El Centro Community Center, providing guidance for the planning, the design of the approval of the plans for the new high school, street and sidewalk improvements, and increasingly looking for strategies to really combat the effects of climate change that affects the densely developed urban environment that we're in. And also, just to over the years, and I know you're all very familiar with a lot of the work that the department does, but we have our hands in a number of different projects. Whether it be the improvements to Jenks Park, which is a multi-year, multi-phase project. We made great progress there. Expect to have not just expect to, we will have a ribbon cutting for the playground before the end of the fiscal year. We will be having a ribbon cutting very soon also for the new tennis courts. We are doing work at River Island. So again, we work with other departments. Those are Parks and Rec department projects as well, but traditionally this department has played a major role in helping to manage the project. So in some cases going out and getting the funding, and also managing the grants, but also managing the work to get the projects completed. So through the hiring of our new deputy director, relatively new deputy director, Diane Jacobs, we've been able to focus on managing projects. Over the coming year, as we look to new hiring opportunities, we will put a focus on, in addition to the day-to-day management of projects, really doing some additional planning, forward-looking, helping to play more of an advisory role in terms of identifying opportunities for the city for future ones. And in keeping with that, some very specific projects that we have in the works. We are working to upgrade or update our zoning ordinance and land development regulations. We'll continue that in the coming months. We will also be working on an upgrade to our comprehensive plan that's mandated by the state. We've identified a consultant for getting that work done, and that will also involve a lot of political engagement. And staff will be heavily involved in that work as well. And as far as housing is concerned, the role that the department plays really is ties to our work with the zoning board and the planning board. Is that as proposals come before the city, a critical part of that work is to review the plans to make sure that they're consistent with the city's goals, and also that we consider effects on the surrounding community. And so we've had an opportunity to review in the past year plus hundreds of new proposed housing units, some of which are under construction now, and some that have recently been completed. We recently completed our home ownership projects at Washington and Hood, 2 new single-family home ownership projects. We'll be breaking ground soon next door on some additional housing development. Others in the works. We continue to look for opportunities at the old Osram site. We intend to making sure that housing can be included as part of that development. I know it's all in there, I could go on. I won't go into all the detail, but just wanted to give you a sense of the variety of the work that we do and the roles that we play, and we'll welcome an opportunity to provide you with information.
Well, starting again, say, Jim, I can see, or we can see that you have a lot on your plate. It's working in so many projects at the same time, and with such a small group of people. I believe it's how many? 4?
Yeah, so we have currently there's my role as director. We have deputy director, and we've just shifted that position to a project manager focus position. We have a planning technician position who provides a lot of support for zoning board, planning board, dealing with a lot of customer-facing work that John Marquez is providing that role. We have the small business workforce development coordinator that's under the department, and we recently lost our community development manager. But our plans for moving forward is to continue to actively pursue and manage projects under the Community Development Block Grant program, which was really the primary responsibility of that position. But we feel that through coordination with other departments, as well as sort of shifting some of the workload within our department, that we will be able to still accomplish those goals and more, go out and seek even more funding. We have an opportunity to speak with folks in the State Office of Housing and Community Development who manage that program in the next week or so to look for opportunities for more. So we're going to reassign some positions that we're looking to bring on a new position.
Is that you plan to reassign position? You plan to also hire a new person?
Yes. So one of the things that the reason I was running here and catching my breath here at the moment is that we're spread pretty thin. And so to be able to bring somebody on with a level of skills and experience who can staff boards. Previously, when I was in the deputy director role, that's a role that I played. And now as director, I continue to play that role. And so this will give us an opportunity to fully staff those positions and bring on somebody who's got the ability to help manage some of the land use related, some of the legal aspects of the work that we do. It really does require sort of a higher level of background, education and experience than what we would be able to do through what was previously the community development organization. So not abandoning the work, but shifting the way we get the work done and using this as an opportunity for an incremental investment to get a lot more bang for the buck.
Thank you.
Anyone else? What is
couple of things that I would offer to address that. One is, even in the previous budget, with the position that we have, the community development manager position, it really required a higher salary even for that position. It was something that was kind of an ongoing part of the discussion with the budget before that. But in order to get somebody with appropriate background and skill level, as I said, rather than adding more to that position, we feel that for a relatively small, I don't want to say insignificant, it's $29,000 increase, that some of the increase probably would have had to go get somebody to fill that other position anyway, but the increase will really allow us to get somebody with a more complete set of skills, education level, background, to really to play a much larger role than what we were able to do previously.
Mr. President, what I would add is that there's no other director that I have that is responsible for staffing more than one board, commission, etc. I mean, Alberto, and Matt already have a significant amount of work staffing the council. Jim staffs 3 boards and commissions, right? So he staffs the planning board, the zoning board, and the redevelopment agency. With the possible exception of the clerk's office, the planning department is the department that has the biggest delta between the bandwidth that they have in the department and the amount of things that are on their plate. One exercise that I did when I started as chief of staff is working with the planning department. We put in a spreadsheet every single project that they had moving. Now, not every project is created equal. Some are larger, some are smaller, but there's something like 300 rows in the spreadsheet, right? But each of those rows ultimately translates to progress we see happening out in the city, right? It's the Jenks Park renovation. It's all of the housing development we have. And we're confident that by investing in this additional position, it's going to have the capacity to basically supercharge the amount of work that we're already getting out of the department. And it's sort of like a rock that I don't think I can bring any more out of. Poor Jim is having to sprint here from a zoning or planning board meeting before this, and I think there's even more we're going to be able to get done in the city by adding somebody who also has a set of qualifications. For example, they'll be able to help Jim by staffing some of these meetings.
And that's why I asked the question if you want to have more staffing on the side, because I know it's a lot that you have in being able to do and accomplish this great deal. We can thank you all for that.
Good to see you. So my question was about, so I've been in positions where the role isn't very clear and it creates conflict, for lack of a better word. It creates like who's supposed to be doing what, how's that gonna work, right? And so when I looked at and I agree that you need other people in your department. Like when I was on the board, I remember on the planning board, everybody was running around. And so I do agree that, having extra hands will be helpful. But I guess just, wanted to ask, like, what will be the difference between, and kind of spoke about it a little bit, but maybe we can elaborate a little bit more, just on role clarity for the deputy planning director for project management and the deputy principal planner. Because when I looked at the job descriptions, they look a little bit similar.
And I need to apologize to you and to RJ because the deputy director for project management is a new name.
Yep.
That is very intentional to reflect that focus that I mentioned on project management. The job description hasn't.
Okay.
So the intent of having that distinction, we all need to know about what other roles are as well. We work together as a team, same as we do across other departments. But I'm not gonna be able to step into Mary's role, I'm not gonna be able to step into Matt's role, so I'm not going that far, but to the extent that, we can have that flexibility in that regard, but we really wanna be able to I wanna be careful about saying specialize, because we don't wanna, we're all part of the projects, but in some cases, we lose efficiency because we're all doing a little bit of everything.
Right.
And so, as I said, it's been a very strategic decision in the past several months to be able to dedicate something to tasks of really keeping up with contracts, keeping up with the billing on these projects and so on. So that would be very helpful. So the other position would be more involved with the land use aspects of the work, which is planning board, zoning board in particular. There's a lot of work to do, for instance, with cross departments and the nuisance property task force as well. That there's a lot of opportunity to do more that we can take advantage of or make more opportunities by being able to have somebody who's focused on those types of things. So, a distinct set of tasks that we will clarify and we'll be able to support one another in roles, but really by having those specialties kind of be able to move forward.
If I may, just add, sometimes Jim is too self-deprecating. A bit of context I think I shared with you is